Hi everyone, Risotto here and welcome back to another airsoft video. Today I've got something slightly different for you. I'm in the studio and I'm going to be going over my MFH leaf suit. Whether you're new to leaf suit crafting and you're looking at getting your first suit, or you're an experienced airsofter just looking for a bit of inspiration for your own leaf suit, hopefully there is something in this video for everyone. So without further ado, let's get into the video. So this is the balaclava that it comes with. As you can see, yeah, big sort of hole there at the top for your eyes. And goggles and things like that. So this is the balaclava. Then of course you have the jacket itself. Let's just turn this around so you can see. So a couple of buttons on there, and you've got obviously the front of the suit here, and you've got your arms here on either side, as most jackets have, and it's also got a hood that comes with it, and you've also got the trousers. So you've got three pieces, and every single piece is the exact same materials. It's the brown mesh with the 3D leaves on top. And for me, this is one of the reasons why the MFH suit is such a good base, because it comes with the balaclava. You get the jacket and the trousers. It's a three-piece suit. They're all the same material, same color. So you've got a really good starting point for your suit. You don't need to purchase a separate balaclava, separate from the jacket and the trousers. All comes together in one big suit. So I think that's really, really good. Now, some of these newer leaf suits coming out, the quality looks really, really good. Obviously, they are, in my opinion, they're quite expensive for a leaf suit, but the quality does look really, really good. Whereas on the MFH suit, the quality isn't the best, and it's all right for it's all right generally for airsofting. It's not a problem, but if you kind of come across thorns or things like that, it will catch in the mesh, as you'll be able to see on here. See here, there's a rip just here, and these are sort of dotted all over the suit here and there. Now, it's actually doing fine at the moment. I think I could probably get another year or so out of this suit, but there probably will be a point where it just becomes beyond repair. Obviously, I can fix all of these holes, but eventually I get to a point where it's just ridiculous fixing them all. So, I've probably got another year on this suit, but it's just bearing in mind with this suit that it does rip if you're going in thorns and things like that, or if it catches on something. And over time, obviously, these rips will sort of build up, and eventually it'll probably fall apart, to be honest. But I've had a couple of years use out of it, so I do expect some wear and tear at this point. So that's not really an issue. Now, this is actually my second leaf suit that I've purchased. The first leaf suit I purchased was a bit of it was an experiment at the time. I was actually quite serious about getting into leaf suit sniping, but I just didn't do my research, and it looked actually quite ridiculous. The base color, first of all, was completely wrong. And when I was crafting the leaf suit, I was buying leaves and I was just literally attaching them to the suit as soon as they came through from the post. I literally just sort of attached them onto the suit and think that was done. And of course, it just looked quite ridiculous, really. The colours didn't match at all, didn't blend into the environment, and ultimately I stopped using it and purchased this. And it was a learning curve, really, which I think is really important for anyone looking to get into leaf suit crafting and sort of building your own ghillie suit type thing. It is a learning curve. It takes time, patience, and a lot of research, a lot of trial and error. So for me, the MFH leaf suit was definitely moving in the right direction in terms of the colour. The base colour is so much better. I'll just show you that first leaf suit. I've got it just here. To be fair, the quality on this is actually probably on par with the MFH. The problem is the colour. The colour, as you can see, is silver. It's like silver birch woodland colour. I mean, I don't play in a silver birch woodland, so for me, it was not the right camouflage colour, unfortunately. But you see here, it's the same sort of thing. You've got a mesh with 3D leaves attached, but the colour is it's very different. That is the problem. You need to get a good base colour. It's just going to be an uphill struggle if you purchase a leaf suit and the colour that you start with is not very good. It's wrong. It doesn't match your environment. So the MFH is brilliant. Definitely more of a winter colour base suit, but of course, if you do enough crafting and you're going to add natural foliage, then of course it's going to be absolutely fine for a summer suit as well. I do actually still use this leaf suit for crafting. I literally just rip it up and take the 3D leaves off. I dye them and spray them and things like that and use it on my gear. But as I say, good to start with a good base colour on your leaf suit. So you can see the jacket here. I've crafted crafted the arms, both sides. I've crafted the hood here, but I haven't actually crafted the center piece on the front or the back. Haven't crafted the back either. See here, that's the hood. Here's the back of the leaf suit, and that's because I'm wearing a rig whenever I play airsoft, and so for me there's really no point in crafting these areas of the suit unless of course I plan on using it without a rig, which to be honest probably won't happen. So I've left the front and the back empty, and of course when I put my rig, I'll be obviously my rig is crafted as well, with the same techniques, really very similar techniques to what I've done on the main suit here. So now I've shown you the leaf suit, what leaf suit I'm using, and giving you some information about why I chose that leaf suit. Let's go through some of the crafting materials that I've used on this leaf suit. I'm going to use the jacket for this because the jacket actually has all of the crafting materials I've used. I've used bits and pieces on the balaclava and the trousers, but there's quite a lot going on in the jacket, so this is probably the best place to show you what exactly I've done. So first of all, I'm going to talk about these. These are sneaky leaves, and these are probably the most popular crafting item in the leaf suit build sort of community. They're great quality. They're really good quality. As you can see, they're sort of plastic stem. They're really easy to attach. You can literally put a cable tie through the middle of them. They come in a variety of colours. You've got the green here. You've also got a more yellow one here. And we've got also one of the more brown ones here, the sort of winter, autumn kind of colours here. They do have some grey ones that come with it in the pack, but to be honest, the colour is not brilliant on them. I haven't used them on anything. I may even just spray them a completely different sort of green and try and use them at some point, but I haven't used them yet. But as I say, these sneaky leaves are really, really good. I have adjusted the colour on these slightly. I've literally got a can of brown spray paint just to take the edge off them because they are quite sort of distinguishable. They are quite obvious. I think the colours are very sort of dynamic. You see the shadows on the edge here. So you just take a bit of spray paint and just literally, it just takes the edge off the colour. Next up, I'm going to talk about this. This is some ribbon that I've attached to my suit. You can see here, this is the fabric I've used. It's literally just a big roll of fabric. And this is really, really good for me because it's actually got quite a natural aesthetic to it. And of course, you could literally cut up the middle here and create a bit more sort of grass effect if you wanted to. But the thing is, it's lightweight. And if there was any sort of wind or anything, these will actually sort of catch in the wind. And it just gives your suit a less sort of man-made effect. It looks quite natural. They literally hang from the suit, from the arms. So this is really good. Again, I literally just actually just got given this. It's just one of those things like, These items don't need to be specifically for leaf suit crafting. You can get items from anywhere and put them in your suit, bits of fabric, things like that, just to kind of just blend it up really. I don't think you'd notice from a distance that this was, a roll of fabric. So it's a really good item. I've just put a few of these around the leaf suit in different sort of shapes and sizes and things like that. I've got them on the balaclava as well. So these are a really good item for me. I have adjusted the colour slightly again, just a bit of brown spray paint just to take the edge off them. But yeah, really good item. Next up, we've got these leaves here. These leaves are actually from IKEA, and these are brilliant. They're pretty similar to sneaky leaves in the way that they attach. There's literally a hole. You just thread a cable tie through, and the colour on them is brilliant. They come with these sort of stinging nettle-like ones as well. You can see here. You don't need to adjust the colour at all on these. I've literally taken them off and put them on the suit, and they're so cheap as well. So definitely head down to IKEA and get a big pack of these. Really cheap, and they just go straight on the suit. So definitely worth looking into to get some greens on your suit. Next up, we got these ferns here. These are just online. Again, really cheap, not brilliant quality, but they were actually quite neon green when I first got them. So what I've done is, again, taken a bit of spray paint to them, just to take the edge off the colour, but they're really good because they look sort of quite natural from a distance. And I've just put a few of these around. Again, it's a case of just sort of building it up in little bits of layers and not just kind of chucking loads and loads of these items on when you find them. Otherwise, it will just look unnatural. So I've put a few of these on here and there. Again, not too many. And I've literally just cable tied these in to the suit. So these are really, really good. Again, easy to get online. Next up, Raffia. Let's talk about Raffia. Again, this is just a sort of leaf suit 101, I suppose, adding Raffia to the suit. So this Raffia here, I purchased from Hobbycraft, literally a big pack of it, really, really cheap. And what I've done is I've used 0.6's coffee dyeing technique to dye the Raffia. This is actually the second batch of Raffia I've done. The first batch was a lot lighter. So what I did with the second batch is just literally chucked loads and loads of coffee in the bowl when I was dyeing it to get a much darker colour, because I noticed it was actually a bit bright. Basically, I've cable tied it in. I've just got a few strands. I've got about 6 strands together, wrapped it and cable tied it all together into this sort of big strip. And it just sort of literally sits there on the sort of shoulders and things like that, and just sort of flows down the arms a bit. And just, again, just like the ribbon, it just sort of sits there. It's lightweight. It sort of just hangs down wherever and looks quite natural. So Raffia, of course, great for bulking out the suit. Cheap and a really good way of getting some of those sort of twig effect looking bits on your suit. So I definitely recommend using Raffia. I'll put a link in the description to the tutorial from 0.6 where you can sort of learn yourself how to make the Raffia. Next up, a variation on that, we've got some green Raffia. And the green Raffia was actually purchased online. You can get it anywhere. Just literally type in green Raffia. Now when it came through, much like the Ferns, it was sort of a neon green. So what I've done is, again, just a bit of spray paint just to take the edge off it. You can see here it's sort of gone brown, muddy colour. Yeah, basically what I've done, I've not put too much of this on. I think it looks quite natural if you put too much on. But what I've done is mixed it in with the brown Raffia that I dyed, as we were just talking about. I cable tied it all together onto the suit. And I've literally just done this sort of double cable tie, which just helps it sit a bit more sort of dynamic. Instead of just flopping around, this stuff actually sort of looks like little sprouts of grass on the suit. So I've mixed it in to give it a more natural effect. And yeah, literally cable tied it into the suit. Next up, which is probably one of the latest items I've put in my suit, is this stuff. This grass stuff here. Now, I literally found these in my local shop as I was out and about. They essentially it was more of an ornament, I suppose, really, for your tabletop. But when I looked at the grass, it actually was all connected by little stems that you could just take them off, and you can actually just literally loop a cable tie around it. So that's exactly what I've done. I've taken them out this pot that they came in, and I've just, again, got a bit of spray paint on them just to take the edge off them here, so they're not neon green and looking unnatural, look a bit dirty. And I've just cable tied them into the suit. And I've not got too many of these on the suit. They're sort of dotted around. Again, they're just to add a bit of sort of dynamic to the suit and break up the silhouette, the shape, which is ultimately what you're trying to do. You're trying to camouflage yourself and blend in with the environment. So these grass bits here, again, just to put a few of them on the suit just to help break it up. Next item we're going to have a look at is mesh. This sort of mesh here. You see I've got here on the suit. Now, I haven't actually tied this in very well, to be honest. There are much better methods of tying this in. And for me, this is an alternative to Halo screen. I've seen the Halo screen stuff. It looks absolutely brilliant. But for me, it is a little bit expensive for a leaf suit crafting. So what I did is went down to my local haberdashery store and got this stuff. Got a metre squared of this green mesh. And I've literally cut it up into little chunks and tied it to the suit. Now, I have adjusted the colour slightly. Again, it wasn't quite how I wanted it, so good old brown spray sorted that out, and I've just dotted it literally around the suit. But the good thing about this stuff is it actually lifts up the other leaves around it, so it's sort of on the very bottom of the suit, and it sort of helps the sneaky leaves and everything like that sit up nicely in the suit, so you can they cover more space. So I've put quite a lot of this mesh stuff on. It's sort of all hidden away in the suit, but like I say, I've just cable tied it in. It's a really good way of just bulking out the suit a bit more, much like the Raffia, but it's very subtle, and that's really the point of it. It's not something that I want people to necessarily see or spot. It's just to help bulk out the suit, and yeah, again, really, really good, affordable way of just crafting your leaf suit. Okay, finally, let's talk about one of the most important parts of the leaf suit crafting process, actually. And what this is the elastic bands that I've added into the suit for adding natural foliage. Essentially what this is a elasticated hair tie, and what I've done is cable tied it into the suit. Now these are dotted all around the suit, and what they allow me to do is to stuff natural foliage into the suit whenever I get to the field. Now I could be playing at loads of different fields, and they're all going to have slightly different woodland. Now, I have used hair ties before, and what I did is I literally put one cable tie at one end and kind of double banded them into sort of like a double loop and cable tied them. But what I worked out was actually they were quite easily rip off, whereas in this method it allows you to sort of be a bit more aggressive in putting it in and not worrying about these coming off the suit. So this is my way of tying natural foliage to the suit. I've literally got a cable tie each end, and it allows me just to tuck stuff in to the suit without any problems. So really recommend doing this. To be honest, you could probably take a base suit, as long as the base suit colour was good. If you manage to put these all around your suit and stuff it on site, you'd be in a pretty good position on that basis alone without having to do any of these other crafting bits. This is a really, really effective way of getting a good leaf suit that matches the environment. These are, I would say, essential if you're going to be crafting a leaf suit. Natural vegetation ties. Great way of just, obviously, blending into that environment more so. Let's all just refer back to the point of what we're doing this for. You're wearing your leaf suit for concealment, and what you need to remember is that when you're crafting your leaf suit, you're trying to recreate the forest environment, so your local field. So maybe, next time you go down your local field, take some pictures and things like that, because ultimately that's what you're trying to recreate. You're trying to camouflage yourself with that environment as closely as possible. And that's the point of this leaf suit build. You don't need to just craft the whole suit so you literally can't see any of the base suit underneath. Having little patches is okay, because of course when you're airsofting and you're in the forest and you're in the woodland, you're not necessarily going to have the whole forest floor covered with foliage, especially during the winter and the autumn sort of months. You are going to see these bare patches on the ground. So it's definitely worth bearing in mind sort of what season you're going to be playing in. We're sort of early in the year at the moment, and as you can see, I've left some patches of brown on the suit. But of course, when we get to the summer, I'll be changing this suit over again. And I think that's something worth bearing in mind. Every game I go to, this suit is different. I don't think I've ever been to 2 games consecutively where I've worn the exact same suit with the same crafting materials on. I'm always taking stuff off, putting stuff on, seeing what works best. I have literally a whole box of crafting materials that aren't even on this suit. Now, you may have noticed that all my items that I've just shown you are actually tied with cable ties on the suit. Literally everything on this suit, including the raffia, has been cable tied into the suit, and that's just my preference. I have used raffia to tie leaves to the suit in the past, but I just found that things would fall off, and I think with cable tying, it's a very much, if it's cable tied in, it's really not going to be coming off anytime soon. You'd have to really rip the suit almost to get some stuff off with cable ties. So for me, I cable tie everything into my suit. That's just my preference. Of course, you can use the raffia to tie stuff in leaves if you so wish, and I know a lot of our other leaf suit snipers do that. Now, I mentioned it before, brown spray paint. I've got this stuff here at the moment. It's literally something I picked up from Hobbycraft, but I use this a lot, and I use it to just take the colour down on certain items on the leaf suit that just come in a bit too neon, a bit fluorescent green. I literally just little coat of brown just to take the edge off them, and I find this a really effective way of getting the colours to blend in well, because of course some of these colours here, like you see the sneaky leaves are sort of quite a bright green. You've got these, you can almost see it on the ends here, they're so green when they came in, and I just couldn't put them on the suit like that. I had to adjust the colour on them to get them nice and sort of blend well. So brown spray paint is a really good thing to have around, just to adjust the colour slightly on the more brighter items on your suit. And all of these techniques we've been through today, of course, can be applied to your rifle, they can be applied to your rig, camera mount, goggles, and face protection, of course. Obviously, you want your rig and face protection, they need to blend in with the suit as close as possible. And so, of course, you want to be using all these crafting techniques across the board on all of these different items in your loadout. So to conclude this video and share some advice, the main point really is that leaf suit crafting is a time-consuming process. It's a trial and error process. It takes research. And it just takes time to get right, and it might take you a few attempts. Like I said, this is my second leaf suit, but it will pay off. People are helpful out there, especially other leaf suit builders, and people who are crafting. Just chat to them, and they'll let you know what works and what doesn't, and you'll find a middle ground. Also, something I think is really worth doing is to get someone to take a picture of you when you're out on site, because you can really see what blends in well, what doesn't, what items are sticking out on your loadout. It's a really good way of just quickly having a look at your leaf suit and just deciding, maybe I should take that off, or maybe I should fill in that area a little bit more. Thanks for watching, and if you enjoyed the video, please subscribe to the channel. Let me know down in the comments if you found this video useful. I'll put links in the description below where you can find out some more information about the techniques I've covered in this video.